Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. This time we're tackling Master Yourself, and you will master your life. I'm so excited to break this one down with you all.
Me too. There's so much good stuff here.
Yeah, it's a really interesting piece.
Yeah.
So, how should we frame this? What's the mission of our deep dive today?
Well, I think it's all about, really understanding the core principles of self-mastery and then how we can actually apply them in a practical way.
Right, because what's the point of knowledge if we can't actually use it?
Exactly. It's got to be actionable.
So we've got Master Yourself as our guidebook.
Yep, our roadmap for mastering our own lives.
I love it. So the piece jumps right in with this idea of the battle within. And right away that resonated with me. It's like, oh yeah, I know that battle all too well.
Right. It's like it's calling us out on all those internal struggles.
Totally. It's that voice in our head that's like, you're not good enough or you're going to fail.
Oh, yeah. The self-doubt, the fear, the procrastination.
All those things that hold us back from really achieving our full potential.
But the thing is, and this is what I love about how this piece frames it, it's not like this is some unique problem that only we have.
Right.
It's a human problem. We all face these internal battles.
It's universal. So knowing that.
It's kind of comforting in a way.
Right. Okay, I'm not alone in this.
Exactly. And once we acknowledge those obstacles, that's when we can start to overcome them.
So then how do we actually start winning that battle?
Well, that's where the piece goes into the power of the mind, which is where things get really interesting.
Okay, yeah, this is a big one. I mean, this source even drops this amazing quote from Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
Right.
Like, whoa.
Right. Talk about a powerful reminder
Yeah.
saying, hey, we can't always control what happens to us, but we absolutely have the power to choose how we react, how we think about those events.
Like taking back control of the narrative.
Exactly. And that's where real strength comes from.
So if our thoughts really do shape our reality, how do we start to change those thought patterns? Like, what are some practical things people can actually do?
Well, one technique that's really helpful is cognitive reframing. Have you heard of that?
I think so, but a refresher never hurts.
So basically, it's about taking a negative thought and actively challenging it.
Give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you have the thought, I'm not good enough.
Oh, I know that one.
Right. We all do. So instead of just letting that thought run wild, you stop and ask yourself, is this thought really true? What evidence do I have to support this?
So you're putting those negative thoughts on trial almost.
Exactly. And often when we really examine them, we find that they're based on assumptions or past experiences, not actual facts.
It's like becoming a thought detective.
I love that.
Okay, so we're challenging those negative thoughts, but then what?
Well, then you can start replacing them with more positive and empowering thoughts. That's where affirmations come in.
Affirmations. I've heard mixed things about those.
I know they can seem a bit cheesy at first, but there's actually a lot of power in consistently affirming positive statements about yourself.
So it's like rewiring your brain almost.
Exactly. It can actually reprogram your subconscious mind over time.
So instead of I'm not good enough, maybe it's I am capable and worthy.
Yes. Or I am strong and resilient.
It's like replacing those negative tapes with new empowering ones.
Exactly. And the more you repeat those affirmations, the more you start to believe them and the more they become your reality.
So we're tackling those negative thoughts. We're building up our positive thoughts. But life's still going to throw us curveballs.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
And that's where I think the next act comes in. Emotional resilience, the strength to endure.
This one's a biggie, for sure.
Because let's face it, I'm not always the best at handling those curveballs with grace and composure.
None of us are perfect at it.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But what I like about how this piece approaches emotional resilience is it's not about becoming some emotionless robot.
Right. It's not about suppressing our emotions.
It's about learning how to navigate them,
Yeah.
how to ride the waves without getting swept away.
It's like, yeah, we're going to feel things. We're human. But we don't have to be controlled by our emotions.
And the source quotes the Bhagavad Gita here, which says, the mind is restless, but it is subdued by practice. So it's acknowledging that our minds are naturally going to be all over the place, right?
Oh, for sure. It's like a monkey swinging from vine to vine.
That's a great analogy. But through practice, we can learn to calm that monkey mind.
Exactly. It's about building that emotional resilience muscle so that when those inevitable challenges come up, we have the inner strength to deal with them effectively.
So instead of just reacting to our emotions, we're responding thoughtfully,
Exactly. And that takes practice.
like anything worth mastering. So what are some practices that can help us build that emotional resilience? We're going beyond just like think positive here, right?
Absolutely. I mean, think positive is great, but it's only part of the equation.
Right.
Mindfulness is a really powerful tool for building emotional resilience.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. It's about paying attention to our thoughts and feelings in the present moment without judgment. So
No.
not getting caught up in the stories our minds create.
So it's more about just observing those thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. And this awareness creates space between our emotions and our reactions.
And that space gives us a chance to choose a more skillful response.
Exactly. It's like hitting that pause button before we say or do something we might regret.
Yo, I need that pause button sometimes.
We all do. Another practice is learning to regulate our emotions.
Okay, how do we do that?
Well, it involves identifying our emotional triggers.
The things that set us off.
Yeah. And then developing healthy coping mechanisms.
Okay, so for example,
Let's say you know that public speaking makes you super anxious.
I know that feeling.
So instead of letting that anxiety take over, you could practice deep breathing techniques before you speak.
To calm those nerves.
Exactly. Or you could visualize yourself successfully giving the presentation, which can boost your confidence.
I like that. So we're learning to master our minds and our emotions. But how do we actually translate all of that into action, into tangible results in our lives? That's where things get really interesting, because the source introduces what might be the most misunderstood element of self-mastery. Discipline, the bridge to freedom.
Discipline, such a loaded word, isn't it? Yeah, it kind of has this negative connotation, like it's all about restriction and deprivation.
Right, like it's the opposite of freedom.
But the source actually argues that discipline is what creates true freedom.
Whoa, okay, that's interesting.
It's like, think about it.
Oh,
If you're disciplined with your finances,
yeah,
you have more freedom to pursue your dreams.
because you're not weighed down by debt.
Exactly. Or if you're disciplined with your health, you have more freedom to enjoy life to the fullest.
You have the energy to do the things you want to do.
Right. And the piece really drives that point home with this quote from James Clear. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Okay, that's a good one.
So it's not just about willpower, it's about building those systems, those habits that actually support us in reaching our potential.
So are we talking about like productivity systems, like the Pomodoro technique or the Eisenhower matrix?
Yeah, those are great examples.
Okay, cool.
The Pomodoro technique, for instance, helps you break down work into focused intervals.
Which can be really helpful for overcoming procrastination.
Exactly. And the Eisenhower matrix helps you prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance.
So you're focusing on the things that truly matter.
Right. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
I like that. But I think a lot of people get overwhelmed by these systems,
Oh, yeah. It's easy to get caught up in trying to do everything perfectly.
Right, like trying to overhaul your entire life overnight.
And then you just burn out.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what's the alternative?
Well, that's where the source's emphasis on small, consistent actions comes in.
Small, consistent actions.
It's not about becoming a productivity machine overnight. It's about starting with one small habit, mastering it, and then building from there.
Okay, so like instead of trying to meditate for an hour every day, you start with 5 minutes.
Yeah. Or instead of overhauling your entire diet, you focus on adding one more serving of vegetables to your meals.
It's those small wins that add up over time.
Exactly. It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
I love that saying.
In each step, no matter how small, builds momentum and reinforces those positive habits.
Okay, so we're being disciplined, we're building those good habits, but I think we also need a sense of direction. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Discipline without direction is like a ship without a rudder.
It's just going to drift aimlessly.
Exactly. Which brings us to purpose, the compass of life.
Okay, yeah, this is a big one. It's not enough to just be disciplined. We need to understand why we're doing all this in the first place.
Right. What's driving us? What's our why?
What's the point of all this effort?
That's the heart of it, isn't it? The source talks about purpose as that guiding force.
That gives our lives meaning.
Yeah. It's not just about checking things off a to-do list.
Yeah.
It's about aligning our actions with something that truly resonates with our values.
Something that makes us feel alive.
Exactly. And the piece connects that to contributing to something larger than ourselves.
It quotes Gandhi, who said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others."
Oh, I love that quote.
Me too.
It perfectly captures the idea that our individual journeys become more fulfilling when they're connected to something bigger than ourselves.
When we're contributing to something beyond our own needs and desires.
Whether it's our community, a cause we believe in, or simply making someone's day a little brighter.
It gives our lives a deeper sense of purpose.
Right. It's like that feeling you get when you volunteer or help someone in need.
Yeah, you walk away feeling energized and fulfilled.
Exactly. And that feeling is a powerful motivator.
It can fuel our self-mastery journey.
Absolutely.
But how do we actually find that sense of purpose? For some people, it might be crystal clear, but for others, it can feel like this big, elusive thing.
You're absolutely right. There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Right.
It's a process of self-discovery. And it often involves introspection and experimentation.
Introspection and experimentation.
Yeah. Think about what truly lights you up.
What makes you feel excited and engaged?
What are your passions? What are your values?
What skills and talents do you have that you could use to make a positive impact on the world?
It's like we need to become archaeologists of our own hearts.
Oh, I like that.
Digging deep to uncover those hidden treasures of passion and purpose.
Because sometimes our purpose is buried beneath layers of societal expectations, limiting beliefs, past experiences.
Right, we need to gently brush away those layers to reveal the true essence of who we are.
And what we're here to do.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're getting in touch with our values, our passions, our skills. But then there's that fear that creeps in,
Oh, yeah.
that our purpose isn't big enough or that it won't make a significant impact.
That's such a common fear, and it often stems from that need for external validation we were talking about earlier.
Right, like we need to be saving the world or something.
Yeah, but here's the truth. Purpose doesn't have to be grandiose or world-changing.
It can be simple.
It can be as simple as being a loving parent, a supportive friend, a dedicated teacher, or someone who strives to bring more kindness and joy into their daily interactions.
So it's not about the scale of the impact. It's about the authenticity of the intention behind it.
Exactly. It's about aligning our actions with our values, whatever those values may be.
Oh, I love that.
And it's also important to remember that purpose can evolve over time.
Oh, for sure. What lights us up today might not be the same thing that lights us up 5 or 10 years from now.
Exactly. And that's okay.
Because self-mastery, like life, is a journey.
It's all about growth and evolution.
So we've covered the battles within, the power of the mind, emotional resilience, discipline, and even finding our purpose. What else is there to explore on this journey of self-mastery?
There's actually one more piece to the self-mastery puzzle.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, the source wraps up with what it calls the mastery mindset.
The mastery mindset.
And this brings us right back to that core idea we keep coming back to.
That self-mastery is a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. It's not about reaching some perfect state of being, but about embracing the ongoing process of growth.
I mean, that's so important because it's so easy to get caught up in this idea of arriving, like reaching some perfect version of ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
But then when we inevitably fall short, it can be so discouraging.
Absolutely. It can lead to a lot of self-criticism. And that just holds us back from actually making progress.
Right. It's like we're always chasing this moving target.
Never quite feeling good enough.
Exactly.
But what if, instead of striving for perfection, we focused on progress?
Ooh, I like that.
What if we celebrated those small wins, those daily efforts, even when they're messy and imperfect?
That's a huge shift in perspective.
It is, because when we're constantly fixated on some future version of ourselves, we miss out on the beauty and potential of who we are right now. So, the mastery mindset is all about accepting where we are on our journey, while still striving to become better.
It's acknowledging that we're a work in progress.
Exactly. And that growth is an ongoing process, not a one-time achievement.
So it's about embracing the journey with all its twists and turns.
Yeah, knowing that each step, each stumble, even each setback is an opportunity.
An opportunity for what?
For learning and growth. It's about seeing those challenges not as failures, but as stepping stones.
Okay, I'm digging this mastery mindset.
I think it's essential for anyone on this path of self-mastery.
Because it takes the pressure off of needing to be perfect.
And it allows us to focus on the process, on the journey itself.
Which is where the real growth happens.
Exactly. And the source makes this really powerful point.
What's that?
It says that this journey of self-mastery is the key to mastering your life.
Whoa. Okay, break that down for me.
It's about taking control of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions.
And ultimately, your destiny.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that you have the power to create the life you want.
Even if it's one small step at a time.
Which is a really empowering message.
It is. especially for anyone who's feeling stuck or overwhelmed.
Because it reminds us that we're not passive passengers in our own lives.
We're the drivers.
And we have choices. And those choices, no matter how small, have the power to shape our reality.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into master yourself and you will master your life,
Yeah.
what resonated with you the most today? What area of your life could benefit from a little more self-mastery?
And most importantly, what's one small step you can take today to start that journey?
It could be anything, right?
Anything. From writing down a positive affirmation, to practicing a few minutes of mindfulness, or simply making a conscious effort to be kinder to yourself,
Because it's those small steps, taken consistently.
that lead to the biggest transformations.
You do not have to have it all figured out. You just have to start.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. We're all on this journey together.
Learning, growing, striving to become the best versions of ourselves.
So keep diving deep, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep believing in your incredible potential.
Until next time, keep mastering yourself, and in doing so, master your life.